Mesechis Bava Metzia Daf Daled Amud Beis. We are about I think 13 lines from the bottom of the page. Okay. Mesiv Malzutra. Shiur Lunishmas of Imoy Menachem Ben Akiva Rus Bas Shalom So Bas Moshe Nefuas Estofim Bas Shoshana Malka Shmuel Avram Ben Yehudis Bas Rivka Basoch Shvar Chol Yisrael. Give me the list later, okay? Today, right after shiur, I'm going to get the list from you, and we'll once and for all we'll deal with it. Thank you, Jeff. Mesim Marzuta Beid Rav Nachman. Marzuta, the son of Rav Nachman, has the following question. Before we get to his question, let's revise the concept of heilach. What does heilach mean? So, and I'm also going to answer a question that Matis asked yesterday over the phone. The question is as follows. We saw yesterday Machloikes between Rav Chia and Rav Sheshes. Rav Chia says that heilach is a regular modeh bemiktzas, while Rav Sheshes said that heilach is considered as kofer b'koil. Who is Mr. Heilach? Is the heilige guy? What's heilach? Heilach means the person was modeh bemiktzas. He says, yes, I owe you 50 out of the 100 that you claim. And the 50 heilach. What does heilach mean? Here you are. There you go. Take it. So Rav Sheshes says, well, that's considered to be case closed. I am absolutely modeh to you, and I'm paying you already the first claim. Gemarnu, that's it. Now the other 50, I'm completely denying, and therefore I don't have to take shvua. Before we ask Matis's question, I'll tell you there's a machlokes rishonim. What does heilach exactly mean? When we say that the money is available for the person, and that may be the closing up of the first case, ki'ilu, how far do you have to go giving the money? Some Rishonim say he has to mamish give him the money in his hands. You mamish have to give him the money. Rashi says no. Rashi says if the person says it's a halva, it's a loan, and I never used the money yet, it's in an envelope. Once it's in an envelope, meaning I never used it, it's still yours. Even if it's happened to be in Australia, we're in Israel, the mere fact that the money is still fresh in the envelope and was never used by me, that alone means nothing started. I didn't start the money, didn't start using the money, and therefore the money is available for you. But take it, even if it's not in your hands now. Some people say it's available if it's at home, even if I did use it, and let's say as a mashkoin. That's another opinion. Let's say a person says, yes, I borrowed 5,000 out of the 10,000, and you know what? There's a candlestick, 5,000 shekels worth, and it's in my house. So it's not the same money. But as long as something is available for you to take, that's good enough. So we see there are different levels of availability of the money to say heilach. That's when it comes to halva, to a loan. Now, the question that Matis was asking yesterday was, can the person who's the malve, can he refuse the money? Let's say he wants to continue the case. He wants to force the other guy to be nishba. Can he actually say, I'm not taking the money from you? I don't think it's possible. The daiti, I didn't see it inside. I don't think so. Why? Because if the person says the money is available, it's available. Whether you don't take it or not, that's your problem. As far as I'm concerned, I already gave you the money in Gemarnu. That didn't push it to your pocket. It's available for you. According to those opinions, yes. According to most opinions, once the money is available and I'm okay by giving you the money and done, finished, now I'm makrish. L'choiro depends on the loive, on the one being accused, and the loive, the nitba, because he made it available for him. It's available for you. You don't want to take it? Now it's your problem. Kach nirali, that's what I think. What? He doesn't want to take it because he wants to play smart. He wants to davka continue the situation modeh bemiktzas. According to Rav Sheshes, if he takes it, then he will not be nishba on the rest of the money. And the malve always has an interest, yes, to make him nishba. According to Rav Sheshes, the malve is in a disadvantage. So maybe he can trick the system. I don't think he can. Now the Gemara is going to ask a question from Pikodoin. We all know, Mesim Malzuto Beida of Nachman. Let's just read and then I'll explain as we go along. Listen to the following case, which is a Mishnah in Shavuos. Tano Kelim vekarkois. Listen carefully to the case. Kelim, plural, vekarkois, plural, 2 plus 2. Which means, let's say a person has a mega big tvia taina against his friend. He claims like this: you stole from me, or you have in your possession for whichever reason, maybe you got it and you didn't pay it, whichever the case may be, two diamond rings, let's say, two kalim, two mobile metaltalin, bekalkois, and also there are two pieces of land that you're squatting in and they belong to me and you sit there illegally, you stole the land from me, one in Yerushalayim, one in Tel Aviv. So there are two kalim and two kolkois. Yeah, two metaltalin and two kolkois. Now let's see how it works mitzad Shevua. Hoida bekalim, the kofel bekalkois. Let's say the person said, yes, it's true, I'm sorry, I do owe you those two rings. Yes, I owe you the rings, you're right. I do have those two rings which I didn't pay for. They're in my possession. I agree with big tears in my eyes. The kofel bekalkois. What? The two pieces of land, the two apartments in Yerushalayim, Tel Aviv? No way. No, mapitom, I don't owe you anything like that. Or, let's say the other case, the other way. Hoida bekalkois, the kofel bekalim. Let's say the person was modeh bekarka, which means he said, yes, I owe you. Yes, it's true that I have the land in Tel Aviv and Yerushalayim that belong to you and I'm sitting there illegally. Because of the kalim, diamond rings? No, not the blue diamond, not the white diamond. No way. No kalim of yours are by me. Potu, he is exempt from Shevua. Why is he potu? It's modeh bemiktzas. He admitted to half the story. Why is it potu? Because who's involved in it? What is involved in the story? Karka. What's karka? A piece of land is potu mishvua. Karka is potu. Karka is potu. Potu. Okay, fine. Because there's exeres kosuv. You know why karka is potu from shvua? Because it says kesef okelim. The parsha in Parshas Mishpatim that describes the person who's chal shvua d'oraisa says money or kelim, excluding land. Now, third case. Hoida bemiktzas kalkois potu. Let's say the only thing that he admitted to owe the other was some of the lands. Only the apartment in Tel Aviv, Yira Kodesh, only that is really something I owe you. All the rest, I don't owe you. Again, potter. Why? Because as long as karka involved, either he admitted in the karka or denied the karka, lo meshaneh, whichever side of the fence karka is in, lamaisa, that person is potter from shvua. Now comes the only exception to the rule. Bemiktzas kelim chayev. Let's say the person said, you know, out of all four accusations, the only thing that I owe you is the blue diamond, not the white diamond, not the karka Tel Aviv, not the karka in Yerushalayim. Really, I'm chayiv to you what? Only bemiktzas kelim, then is chayiv shvu on everything. Obviously, I'm stopping right here. Why? Karkois are involved in the story. Explains the Gemara later, and Rashi already now. We saw that there is a concept called Gilgul Shevua. What does Gilgul Shevua mean? It's a previous Gilgul, is a cat, Gilgul. Gilgul Shevua means, like in Soita, if a person has two accusations against his friend, two tainas, on one of them he can be mashbia, the other one he cannot be mashbia. Once I can be mashbia you on X, I will roll the other Shevua on you. I will bring the other shvua on you like chain reaction, and you'll be nishba on the other one too. So since kalim and kalim, the two diamond rings that can be mashbia you, it's modeh bemiktzas locally in the metaltalin. So too the karka, which cannot be mashbia you, now it will be mashbia you. So now be nishba on the blue diamond, karka Tel Aviv, karka Yerushalayim, they all roll along. They all come along, all triggered one by the other. Says the Gemara like this. Oh, now comes an attack against Rav Sheshes. Where is heilach in the story? Excuse me, Rabbi. Where's heilach? You keep talking about heilach. Where's heilach? I'll tell you where heilach is. Before we continue, you have to know. A piece of, let's say, diamond ring. Is this heilach? No. If he admits that he owes him the ring, he says, yeah, it's true. It's true that the ring is by me. Where is it? I'll have to look for it. Or, oh, it's in the safe and I forgot the code, I got to get the number. You know, he taught me this English saying, it's between cup and lip, there's many a slip. You know, like, I don't want to start getting political, but you know, people chase Bituach Lomi for 2 years to get money. Let's say Bituach Lomi decided, oh, the money is coming. Is it going to be in your account in 5 minutes? Not even a funny joke. It'll be in your account maybe in a month, yeah? In other words, before the person agreed, between the agreement of the person, Chaim, and the person actually paying, there is a long time. Not all diamond rings are available for him. Maybe he lost it. And he says, I'll pay you $10,000 in cash. However, karka is always heilach. Karka is always heilach. Why? Karka doesn't run away anywhere. You can't lose karka, you can't burn karka, and in the Havamina you can't destroy karka. Since karka is always there, if you admit to karka, that's considered to be automatically heilach. Every karka is equal to heilach. That's what we say. So now the Gemara is coming to attack. Time the kelim v'kolkois. The reason is that kelim v'kolkois, you don't have to take shvua. The karka lav bat shvua here. The only reason why, if there's kelim and kolkois involved in the story, in 3 out of 4 cases we had, then you say that you don't take a shvua. There's a kosuv. I don't know why. Karka is not something that is shvuable. Kelim v'kelim. Dumia de kelim kolkois chayev mashma lu yitzur. Had it been kelim and kelim, but the kelim would be like karka. Had they been karka style kelim, you would be chayev shvua. What do you mean karka style kelim? Echidami. How is that? Lav de omer le heilach. In other words, yeah, we see that kelim, had kelim been like karka heilach. Let's say the person says, diamond ring is where? Here, take it. Or according to other Rishonim, the diamond ring is in my office in exchange. It's in my office right there. Go ahead and take it. Not stolen. I'm not telling you stories. Take the taxi right now to Ramat Gan, to the Bursa. It's there in the 5th floor. No problem. Go ahead and take it. Then mashma, that he would be shma min heilach chayev. You see what? You see that the only reason why karka is potu is because karka, there's a special gzeras hakosuv. Why? Karka should be potur anyways because karka is heilach. In other words, had karka be metaltalin like karka, meaning available metaltalin, just like the karka never runs away anywhere, just like the karka can never really get destroyed, yeah? And so too, in karka, there's always heilach, mashma, so too, by metaltalin, had it been heilach, if it would have been karka, had it been metaltalin, you would be chayiv, right? Even though it's heilach, boom, 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 against Rav Sheshes and pro Rabbi Chia. And says the Gemara, loy. No. La'oy lamei malach, kelim and kelim nami potu. Says Rav Sheshes, no. Kelim and kelim, if the kelim I admitted to are available right away, if I say, says Rashi, the blue diamond, let's say, is right in front of you, go ahead and take it. Depends on the level. Different Rishonim say different things. But the mice, if it's available for you, you would be potu by heilach. By the tiny kelim v'korkois. So why did we jump and talk about kelim v'korkois? Why didn't we be mechadish? Yeah, like Rav Sheshes that kelim potu. Why did we talk about korkois? Speak about kelim v'kelim and be mechadish more, like Rav Sheshes. And says Gemara, no. We wanted to gain a different chiddush from left field. Akamash malan, we wanted to gain another chiddush by saying kelim v'korkois. Hoid bemiktzas kelim chayv afal korkois. That's a chiddush. If you're modeh on one of 2 kelim, on some of the kelim, one diamond yes, the other one no, you have to take shvua over karka. Ooh, shvua over karka? How could that be? Since Metzia yinish over karka, my kamash malan zoikikin. In other words, the chiddush is zoikikin. Zoikikin is a synonym for Gilgul Shevua. In other words, Gilgul Shevua, the fact that if I can be nishba on what? On metaltalin, then the other Shevua can roll along. The other Shevua comes over in a chain reaction and says, now I can be mechayiv you also to say that you should be nishba on the karka. That's the chiddush. We can also read the last 3 words as a question. My kamash malan zoikikin. You want to tell me your only chiddush here is that Gilgul Shevua? Shnina, it's Meforsh in the Mishnah. Why does the Mishnah have to tell me that Gilgul? It's a Mishnah in Kiddushin Daf Chaf Vav. It says there, Zoikikin nechosim she'en lanachayis, es nechosim sheyesh lanachayis lishova aleihem. We see a Mishnah in Kiddushin that says nechosim she'en lanachayis. What are nechosim without achrayis? Those nechosim are nechosim she'en lanachayis are who? Are metaltalin. They cause nechosim with achrayis, I karka, to take shvua, right? So there's a Meforsh Mishnah already. Why does Mishnah have to repeat the same thing twice? By the way, our statement here, our Mishnah is Mishnah in Shavuos, and the Mishnah that we ask from is in Kiddushin. So the Gemara says, why do you have to repeat the same thing twice? Says the Gemara, no. Over here is the main chiddush of Gilgul Shevua. What's over here? The Mishnah we quoted over here about the different metaltalim and karkois, that Mishnah is where? Is in Shavuos. Shavuos, Kishmoy Kenhu, is the Masechta that talks about Shavuos. So Iker, the main place, the local home field of Shavuos is where? Is Masechta Shavuos. Awesome. The question is the other way. Over there in Kiddushin, Agav Grara Nasva. Over there, the Mishnah in Kiddushin only mentions Shvua as an Agav, as the by the way fashion. Why? Because the Mishnahs in Kiddushin, if you remember the first parak, there are some Mishnahs over there that talk about Kinyonim. And over there, the Mishnah spoke about Kinyan Agav. The Mishnah spoke about Kinyan Agav, that is to say that if one is koine a karka with the proper way of koine karka, keser shtar v'chazokah, and he also wants to be koine metaltalin, he can koine the karka, and the Kinyan karka would apply to the metaltalin too. And Agav Grara, by the way, we also mentioned the same applies to Shvua. Shvua over metaltalin can drag along with it the karka to be nishba on the karka. But that's not a question what's mentioned twice. Sometimes the Gemara, the Mishnah has mentioned something as the main location, and then it's mentioned somewhere else as an aside. Next question comes now another question against, again, Rav Sheshes. Hey, Amud Aleph. Starting today's Amud. Hey, Amud Aleph. Frag the Gemara. Well, the man Domar heilach potu. According to the man Domar that says that heilach is potu, the question is, why did the Pasuk have to tell me at all that karka is exempt from Shvua? That if karka is involved, yeah, and let's say I'm koi for the karka, why do you have to tell me that I don't have to take Shvua? Hakol karka heilachu. Every karka is heilach. Every karka is available. Even if we're discussing it in the base in Bet Shemesh and the karka is in the Philippines, still it's available. Nobody takes it in his pocket and runs away and dodges away with it. So Mimela, why do you have to take a special pasuk, kesef or kelim, kita nishal reo kesef or kelim, and then it says shvua ad Elohim yavud val shneim to exclude karka. Any karka is excluded, but it's mere fashion, but it's mere character. It's a heilach kind of thing, so it's potter from shvua. Omar lecho, answer number one. Omar lecho. So we have a Tosfos here, by the way. We'll see the Tosfos later. We have two Tosfosim. One of them I'd like to see inside, maybe. Amar lecho, answers Rav Sheshes. It's lichko, you know when the posuk is necessary. Let's say the person who got hold of your karka, and the claim is you took my karka, or let's say two karkos, yeah, and he admits to one karka. You took away two karkos of mine, you squatter, Tel Aviv and Yerushalayim. And now he says, I admit the karka in Yerushalayim. I'm so sorry, the one in Yerushalayim is really yours. Yeah, you open the door to the karka in Yerushalayim, och and vei. The whole place is full of boyros, shichun, ma'oros. He messed up the whole place. He dug there all kinds of what? All kinds of pits and manholes and pitfalls and pit holes. It's full of holes and trenches, absolutely not livable, not arable, not workable, which means it's not available. So even though karka doesn't run away anywhere, but karka, yes, karka may be unavailable. Sometimes karkos can be unavailable. Why? Because it's just not suitable for living or working. So you could have a case of a karka which is not heilach. The case of karka is not heilach. In that case, you would say that really, maybe there was shvua, comes the Torah and tells me, no, there's no shvua. By the way, Tosfos, I'm not reading Tosfos inside, you can look it up later, but the first Tosfos asks the question, how could you say in karka bichlal, modeh bemiktzas, right? How can you have a case of modeh bemiktzas in karka? Tosfos asks the question, who's the person who's modeh bemiktzas? Remember that guy? What's the psychology behind modeh bemiktzas chayv shvua? It's a person who has cash and used up the cash, and he wants to wait until he gets his next salary. He's modeh bemiktzas in order to buy time. In karka, how can you buy time? The karkos are there, either they're there or they're not, right? So the how should be modeh bemiktzas? Yeah, he's mamish lying. He's not waiting until the karka will come back to life. Answers Tosfos, sometimes, and we're looking on the very, very end of Tosfos, the first one, the man Domar, answers Tosfos, I'm reading inside. גם בקרקע שייך קצת השתמטות המשתמט. In karka also, there's a situation of a person dodging out. כי שמא mishkeno. Maybe the person who stole the land, he actually mortgaged it against another loan. V'sova ada v'lizuzi paran alei. He wants to buy time vis-a-vis the owner of the land that he stole, because he actually used that karka as a collateral to somebody else. And therefore, what does he want to do? He wants to wait until he'll have cash to pay his malve, then get the karka free from his malve and give it to the legal owner. So by karka too, there is a mechanism of buying time. Times the Torah tells you, no, although logically it would be nice to be nishman karka, says the Torah, no, kesef kelim and not karka. Inami, another answer. Echad etanoi kelim v'kalkois, vehoida bekelim, v'kofar bekalkois. Very, very easy answer. Very easy answer. What did you ask Rav Sheshes? How did you attack Rav Sheshes? You said, according to Rav Sheshes, how is it possible b'chalal to be nishman karka? If you're modeh on a karka, then what? It's automatically heilach, unless it's a broken land. Regular karka is heilach, so of course there's no shvua. Says the Gemara, yes, but sometimes karka is the other side of the fence. Let's say really he's modeh bekelim. Let's say I tell the guy, you stole from me some rings and things and computers, and also you stole from me a land in Yerushalayim, Tel Aviv, and Beersheba, and then you know what he admitted? He admitted in a way of hoide bekelim, and kelim are not heilach. He said, yes, I stole the computers and the rings. Where are they? I'll have to see. I lost them. Maybe I found them. It's burnt. I have to give you back cash instead. I admit I owe you, but it's nowhere heilach. It's not ready and available. Very good. In such a case, even though karka is involved, because karka he denied and he was koifer, if not for Chiddush HaTorah, I would have said you should be nishba. There's no heilach. Therefore, there is shvua, says Rav Sheshes. Where's karkois? They're in the back end. There's something on koifer. The Torah tells me, no, you're never nishban karkois. Neither if you denied them, nor if you admitted them. Toshma. Oh, here comes another question against Rav Sheshes. Yeah, let's see. Toshma. The Tani Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama. Oh, before we continue, let's inaugurate the beautiful new whiteboard. Okay, let's see what people can see. No. Okay, 1 minute. We'll stop recording for a second. Yeah. Now there are three cases in the Torah when a person has to take shvua, and the Rosh Hashanah is Shema, like Shema Yisrael. Shoimrim, if the person is a shomer and he claimed that it was like a shomer chinam, says it happened by gneva v'aveda, yeah, so I'm potter. So now you have to swear. Really? Are you sure that that the sheep was stolen from you in a way you couldn't control, or was not pshia? Take a shvua before you exempt yourself. Modeh bemiktzas. If a person admitted half the story, then he has to take shvua, as we all know. And the third one is eid echad. If an eid echad is on the side of the tevea, of the plaintiff, the other side has to take shvua. Rosh Hashanah Shema. Remember it by heart. Shomrim, modeh, and eid echad. I'm sorry for the people on Zoom that this is upside down. Now, shomrim, the first two, shomrim and modeh, yeah, shomrim and modeh, yeah, are both learned from the same parsha. The Torah talks about a person who gave his friend money or utensils, and then there is a dispute between them. There's a question, and then says the Torah, the words ki huzeh. The words ki huzeh of modeh, yeah, means the person admitted half the story, and therefore, yeah, he has to take shvua. So really, shomrim and modeh are connected. They're really mentioned in the same parsha. Now let's read Rami Bar Chama. Says Rami Bar Chama the following chiddush. The Tani Rami Bar Chama. Arba shomrim, the four shomrim, we all know who they are. The four shomrim tzrichin kfira bemiktzas v'oido bemiktzas, which means something very, very interesting. He combines shvuas shomrim with modeh bemiktzas. What does that mean? What shvuas shomrim? Let's say I go to my friend who's a shomer socho. Let's pick one of the four. You tell me. Shomer Sochor, Is chai beoinsin? Was oinus. A big lion came and ate up the sheep. He can't control. He's not chayiv. Okay, let's say it's a little fox. He could control him and should have. Yeah, okay. That's not oinus. That's somewhere between gneva aveda and pshia. So now, let's say the shomer says, "Oh, a big lion came and ate your sheep. What could I do?" Okay, make a shvua. Don't tell me tall tales. Give me a shvua. That's the oraisa. I can make you take shvua. Says the owner. What's modeh bemiktzas? Different story. Yeah, let's say he told me there would be a different case. Where are my sheep? You only gave me one. I gave you 20 sheep. No, you gave me 10, right? That's a different taina of modeh bemiktzas. Says Ami Bar Choma, something very interesting. He says that a shomer is only chayav shvua if he has two tainas combined together. A shomer is only chayav shvua if he has both modeh bemiktzas and a taina on the level of shmira at the same time. Wow. How is that? Let me again show you my artistic talent. 1 second, please. Okay, so you may not know, but these are not cockroaches. These are 3 cows. Because that's the example the Gemara brings, 3 cows. Weiter. So now, I'll explain everything. Continues, the the 4 shomrim, in order to be chayav shvua on the level of shmira, you also have to have another additional time at the same time of you gave me 1 cow and not the other. What are the shomrim? Shomer chinam, v'ashoyel, lo'isesocho, v'asoichem. Hechidami. What's the story? Jeff, now we're going to say it again. Lav de omer le heilach? Question mark. Let me tell you like this. There are 3 cows. I'm the owner of the cows, and I say, Mr. Shomer, Mr. Cowboy, Mr. Cowboy, where are my, as kids, we always used to, Purim, cowboy was our favorite costume, Where are my 3 cows? Now he has to say 2 things. He says like this, I modeh bemiktzas v'kofer bemiktzas. Cow number 1, here it is, heilach. Cow number 1, here it is, take it. Cow number 2, what does he say? He says, you never gave me. You never gave me another cow. You claimed, you gave me Lucy. Bessie, you never gave me Bessie. Shtuyot. What about the 3rd one? The 3rd one, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what happened to the 3rd one? A big lion came. Oy, 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 oynes gomur. So, how many claims does he have here? 2. 1 claim is modeh bemiktzas between Bessie and Lucy. And the 3rd cow, Roberta, what about her? What happened to the 3rd cow? He claims, true, he was eaten by a big lion. Oynes gomur. What could have I done? That was oynes. That was oynes over here, yeah? The onus is on him. So now there are 2 shvuas. Shvua number 1 is modeh bemiktzas. Shvua number 2 is to be nishba that something really terrible beyond my control happened, and therefore I don't have to pay you. Look. Frag the Gemara, hechidami. So when do you have such a case? Lav de omerle, heilach. Look, number 1, cow, what does he say? Yes, here is your cow. A shomer, as opposed to other people with those diamonds we spoke about before, is usually, if he wants to get out of trouble, would tell him, here is your cow, grazing in the field, take it. So what do you see? You see the heilach, you are nishba, right? You see the when you combine 2 cases here, case number 1, yes, no, modeh bemiktzas, the cow that is a yes is available. Otherwise, you're pushia, where is the cow, right? And the other time is oynes, it's a different story. So you see on heilach, you are nishba. Because Rami Bar Choma said those shvuos always come hand in hand together. In order to be chayav and shvuos shoimrim, which is oynes, you also have to have the shvuah modeh bemiktzas. Modeh bemiktzas here is a heilach, because the shomer definitely says to him, here's your available cow. And so that's against Rav Sheshes. And says, Gemara, no. The Omar Lei tells him, no, the story was different. Says the balabais to the shepherd, to the roye, Gimel Poras Musar Tilecho, Umeisu Kula Bepshia. He comes with an agenda. Says the balabais, I gave you 3 cows, they all died Bepshia. All died Bepshia, meaning it was your fault. Don't tell me stories about big lions, you liar, not lion. I know you were looking in your smartphone in shtuyot of the media, and that's why all kinds of cows just ran away. It was your pshia. The Omer Le'iu comes the shepherd, the cow keeper, the cowboy says, listen to me, mister, don't get hysterical. Chada lo yidvar me'olam. One of them I never had. One of them, shtuyot. One of them I never ever got. You're telling me tall tales. V'chada mesa be'oines. One of them died because of oines, and that's it. Same as before. I'm sorry, I did not look at my smartphone. I didn't even have one. It was oines. I swear to you that a big lion came out of my control. The whole Hamas came and took it. V'chada mesa be'pshia. Ba'ina shlumilach. Which cow was a problem for us? We thought that the cow that he admits to is a cow that what? That he says, here's a cow. No, one of them I admit was pshia. In other words, the one that they agree on was not the cow that he says, here is the cow. He says, you're right. I am modeh bemiktzas. I admit I have to pay you for the missing cow, which enachinami. When that cow was there, I was learning my Gemara, and I didn't notice the cow ran away to the ditch. So Mimela, we have modeh bemiktzas without heilach. That's Rav Sheshes' dream. Here we have modeh bemiktzas without heilach. It got lost, and now I have to pay you $1,500 worth of a cow. Somebody showed me a website that a cow in Texas is worth $1,300. So this $1,500 I have to pay you. The other one I don't have to pay you. Oh, here we have the connection modeh bemiktzas, and that oines I have to be nishba separately. There was oines, and now a big lion came, and not the pshia. But we got rid of the heilach problem, which is now good for Rav Sheshes. Very good. Toshma. Now we're done with heilach. For now we're done with heilach, and we continue. We continue backwards. We now continue to talk about the previous statement of show is over. The artistic show is done. Toshma. Toshma. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Toshma. Detani avoda b'yaptoriki. Now, remember Rabbi Chia's first statement? Let's see. Tana avoda Rabbi Yabtoriki. The father of Rabbi Yabtoriki was actually questioning le Rabbi Chia kamaisa. There's a question about Rabbi Chia's first statement. Remember Rabbi Chia's first statement many moons ago? There was a case of what? Of a person who claims nothing. I don't owe you anything, not at all. And what? Adim came and remained that he owes him 50. Says Rabbi Chia, you have to take a shvua. You have to take a shvua. Like modeh bemiktzas, made a kal v'chomer that for modeh bemiktzas and eid echod, that if there are edim who are made on half the stuff, half the sum, then you have to take shvua on the rest. Now he comes and he challenges him from a brisa. It says in the brisa, moneli beyodcho. One guy tells the other, excuse me, you owe me $100. The hala oimer encha biyodi klum. No, mister, I owe you zero. Go home. No, I won't go home so quickly. Exactly the same case. The edim come and claim, partially supporting the plaintiff, that there's 50 in the hands of Mr. Denier. Zuz, 50 zuz. Yochel yishova al hashar. Now, is it possible, like Rabbi Chia, that now he has to take shvua over the rest, the remainder 50 that he denies, that he's koifer, like Rabbi Chia? No. Amud loymar, says the Torah, al kol aveda asher yomer ki hu zeh. Any aveda that the person, the shomer, for example, says ki hu zeh. The words ki hu zeh mean only this and not that. Modeh bemiktzas. Alados piv atamechayvoy, the I atamechayv alados edim, which means the words ki hu zeh mean that the person himself opened his mouth and he said ki hu zeh, I owe you this, meaning not the other. I owe you partially, not the whole thing. No. So you see that the Torah only said that the person who is modeh bemiktzas is chayv shvua, but the person who is confronted by edim on half is not chayv shvua. No. So you see against Rabbi Chia, you see a brisa against Rabbi Chia. How can Rabbi Chia survive against the brisa? Greg the Gemara, are you serious? You should learn your Jewish history. Masnisa karomi saleder Rabbi Chia. Are you challenging Rabbi Chia from a brisa? What's that? Rabbi Chia Tanahu Polig. Rabbi Chia was a Tana. Why? Rabbi Chia was a friend of who? Of Rebbe. Rabbi Chia he lived in the generation of a Rebbe and he conversed with Rebbe. It says in Sanhedrin Daf Hey that Rabbi Chia asked Rebbe to give smicha to his nephew. You know who's the nephew of Rabbi Chia? He had two nephews, two famous nephews. One of them was Rav. He said Rav is going to Bavel to be mechazik the Jews in Bavel, give him smicha, and he gave him partial smicha. So you see, Rabbi Chia was at the level with Rabbi. So he's a Tana, following. It's absolutely within his right, within his ability to argue another Tanaim. So the Tana here says that miktzas, edim miktzas is potur, and Rabbi Chia says chayev. What's the problem? Says the Gemara, no. I have another problem. It's all very nice that he can argue in the Mishnah, but as far as I know, he can't argue in the Torah. And if it's true, what the father of Rav Toiriki said, that the Pasuk says, Ki hu zeh, coming to exclude what? Coming to exclude Oidos Edim, and tell me that only Oidos Piv is chayev, how will they explain the Pasuk? Says the Gemara, I have an answer for that too. Ahu lemoide bemiktzas ataina, which means the Torah, all the Torah said was modeh bemiktzas ataina. When the Torah said ki hu zeh, that is to say, a person is what? A person is actually modeh hoidas piv and says, I owe you 50 and not 100 by his own accord. The Torah says he has to take shvua. That's all. Now, from there, if you remember, there was the basis. There was the basis which were built upon the base which were built upon when we said that really. What's his name? That when we said that by Edim, when Edim are made half, you also have to be Nishba. Remember the Kal V'chomer? If a does Steve and also Eid Echad, the two friends, you have to take Shvua, then Kol Sheken, from there we learned, b'me'atzad, yeah, lo izeh keri izeh, that also Edim on half, you have to take Shvua. What you're asking on me from, I'm building on that. And also says Rashi, there's no extra pasuk to exclude the case of Edim. The Torah says modeh bemiktzas chayev shvua doesn't mean only modeh bemiktzas chayev shvua. Modeh bemiktzas chayev shvua and also Edim with the logic explained to you very nicely. What's the problem? It can coexist very nicely with the pasuk. The pasuk says X, and Rabbi Chia builds upon X times 2. Very good. What would he say now? Now he's in trouble. Why does he believe that the pasuk comes to exclude Edim bemiktzas? Says the Torah, Amar lecha, ksiv hu. It says ki hu zeh. The word hu zeh are extra. He could have said ki hu or ki zeh. Why do you have to say ki hu zeh? Hu and zeh are saying more or less the same. Why do you have to say both? Chad modeh bemiktzas ataina, v'chad la'ados edim de potu. One of them comes to include modeh bemiktzas, and one of them comes to exclude ados edim the potur that you don't have to potur. Now that you there, it says twice the same thing to tell you only modeh bemiktzas and never edim bemiktzas. The idach, the other one. Now Rabbi Chia is in trouble. What I call those ping pong gemaras. Now what would Rabbi Chia? What would you do with the extra word? He doesn't believe you have to exclude edim bemiktzas. So what does he do with the extra word of the Torah? It's a heilach Torah extra word. Idach chad l'moed bemiktzas ataina, v'chad l'moed mimin hataina. What does that mean? What's moed mimin hataina? That's Hanaya Zach. What does it mean? Min hataina means as follows. If I told you that the classical case of the Gemara is, I told you, you owe me 100, you have by you my 100 kilos of wheat. And you say, no, Akiva, it's true that I have by me 50 kilos of barley by me. Yeah, I'm talking X and you're talking Y, like a deaf conversation. So now, he believes that if you admitted the wrong kind of product, you're not replying to my taina the right way, bichlal, we're talking cross waves over here, then you don't have to take shvua. Why don't you have to take shvua? You know what the svara is? The svara is because if I say you owe me chitim and not soirim, it's kilo I admit that I don't have soirim by you. Get it? So you don't have to give me the soirim because I never claimed them. You don't have to take shvua, and then according to Samisham, you don't even have to give them because when I said only chitim and I said chitim, and you say soirim, that is to show I admit you don't owe me soirim, so you don't owe them either. There's a question, well, don't say does badil kemedim. That's a different question. The idach comes now. What would Rav Toiriki say, his father? Moed miminataina leislei. He does not believe that moed miminataina is an issue. He believes really the savalei Rabban Gamliel. He thinks like Rabban Gamliel. What does he think like Rabban Gamliel? That's none. I'll explain everything now. Remember what we said? There was a taina in chitin. Let's say the person says you owe me 100 kilos of chitim. The other guy said 50 of soirim. It could be, by the way, even if he said 100 of soirim, still potter. Potter. The Nakama says you're potter. Why? Because I never claimed, it's not modeh bemiktzas, right? I was koifer in all of your chitim, right? And I'm modeh in a different sort of soirim. It's a little bit like heilach or Rav Sheshes. In other words, there's kfir on all the chitim and full oidah on all the soirim. It's not modeh bemiktzas. Therefore, you're potter. And who says you're potter? The Torah. Because we have an extra word in the Torah, which is he, who, ze, and we don't learn it to exclude edim, according to Rav Sheshes. So what do we learn from there? We learn from there, chitim and soirim, you're potter. However, the father of Rav Toiriki, what would you say? Rabbi Gamliel Mechayev. He would say, no. You are chayev. Why are you chayev? You know why? You chayev, by the way, first I'll explain what, and then I'll say why. Rabbi Gamliel Mechayev, and the father of Rabbi Toiriki is with him. You know why is that? Because he said, first of all, the mechanism is the Torah never excluded that. When the Torah says two words, who, ze, the Torah really comes to exclude who? To exclude edim bemiktzas. Edim bemiktzas, you don't have to give shvua. So what do you have to give shvua? On chitim and soirim. And if the person says you owe me chitim and you said I owe you soirim, you do have to take shvua. Now, what's the reason? Didn't we explain so nicely the reason that chitim and soirim is cross conversation, cross waves? Yeah, it's interference in the line. So why do you have to take shvua? So Mecharusa told me, I don't remember b'shem whom, that basically it is modeh bemiktzas because chitim and soirim both translate into one thing. You know this one thing is called? Three things: kesef, money, and geld. In other words, at the end of the day, it's all about money. If chitim are more expensive than soirim, that you all know. Wheat is more than barley. If I say 100 kilos of chitim that are worth, I don't know, 10,000 shekels, and you say soirim, you say 8,000 shekels, right? So at the end of the day, it's all the same. Even though the product is different, the claim, the financial claim, is modeh bemiktzas. At the end of the day, it translates to amounts, to money, to dollars and cents and dimes. And Mimela, in that case, we would say, according to Rabbi Gamliel, that's modeh bemiktzas you chayev. Now, I want to go back to, I don't want to continue. I want to go back to Tosfos at the beginning of go back one page, to Daled Amud Beis, yeah, to the last Tosfos. The last Tosfos of the page in Daled Amud Beis, Hoide bemiktzas kelim chayev. Says Tosfos over there. Remember, I want to remind you what the sugya was about at the beginning of the shiur. At the beginning of the shiur, what did we say? We said like this: a person is modeh bemiktzas kelim. There are four things that claim against you. What are they? One diamond ring, another diamond ring, apartment in Tel Aviv, and an apartment in Yerushalayim. So in most cases, because there are apartments involved in karka, you don't have to take shvua. What was the only case out of four you have to take shvua? If you modeh bemiktzas kelim. If you say, yes, one diamond ring I owe you, one I don't, you modeh bemiktzas and metaltalin, I caught you, I catch you, I got you, I caught you. Why? Now you have to be nishba on the kelim. Now you also have to be nishba on the karka. Why? Gilgul Shevua. If you have to be nishba on kelim and karka is in the horizon there, in the corner, in the margins, then once you nishba on X, you have to nishba on Y. How do you know that in the Torah? Where do we know it from? From Sota. It says, Amen, Amen. The husband, it's the kohen who talks to her, and he says, swear you were not unfaithful to your husband, not from this man that he caught you yichud, and not from another man that he suspected you 5 years ago, 15 years ago. Frek Tosfos b'im toimar yeneman bemigo dibai kofa bekelim v'hoya modeh bemiktzas kolkois. Why do you tell me to take shvua? I have a good friend from Mexico. His name is Migo. Why? I could have lied better. You now caught me in a soft point, a soft spot, in my Achilles heel, and you're telling me, be nishba on the kelim, so mimel also on the karkois. Comes the person who can say, I could have lied. I could have now switched the order. Imagine yourself. I would tell you that I'm koifer in all the kelim, no diamond rings, no metaltalin, nonsense. The karkois, yeah, actually true. The karka in Tel Aviv is yours, and Yerushalayim is mine. What would be the case then, my good friends? If I am from doing modeh bemiktzas within the two karkois, I would be potter on karka and potter. And karka, of course, would not schlep along metaltalin because karka is potter as of itself. So why you mechayev mi shvua? Pater me, exempt me from shvua because of migo. So by the way, we see like the previous suga, my friends, that migo is the reason to be exempt from shvua. It's the reason to be exempt from shvua. The frag says migo. Answers says no. V'yeshlomer big yesod in migo. Shem chofetz bekorkois yoiser. Maybe you want the karka more. Very easy answer. Migo means as follows. Migo means I would have gained the same thing with a better lie. Yeah, if I'm a good liar, I could have gained what's in my pocket now, my tiny now, with a better lie, which would be nicer and easier. But that's not the case over here. You're talking shtiyot, says the tovea to the nitzbah. What do you mean? You would have been koi for the kelim and get the karkos. Maybe you want the karka more. The reason why really you're koi for in the karka, because you really want to keep the karka in your pocket, and you're willing to give up, you liar, one ring out of two. And the karka you want to keep to yourself. That's why you prefer that lie. Not because really, yeah, you're more honest, because the other option, your what I call the backstage taina, would have been as good. Because according to that taina, you'd have lost the karkais. That's why. Imela, that's not called amigo. Okay, very good. I think we'll stop here a little bit earlier. I am not prepared regarding the hemshech, the rest of the Amud. Let's go back to Amud Aleph. Yeah, we are now in we should continue on Sunday, and that would be Ahu Raya. Ahu Raya, the case of the Roya. And, let's just read the story. Let's read the story to give you in suspense, and I'll listen to questions. Ahu Raya, just a story. There was a Roya, shepherd, every day they would deposit under his care animals, sheep, cows, and what? With Eidim. They were always careful. There are two Eidim standing every day, 7 o'clock in the morning, saying, let's count the sheep. We don't go to sleep, or count the cows and see how many cows Mr. Cowboy Shepherd is getting. Yomi Echad, one day, one day they gave him without Eidim. And then he said that one time they gave him none without care, uncarefully, and on that day he said, nothing, I never got anything from you. Also Sahadi asidu be de'ochal talti minayu. Then came Eidim and he said, no, he ate two of them. Liar. He says he didn't get any of them. He ate two of them. Omar of Zera in Isol Rebchia Kamaisa. If Rebchia Kamaisa, the first statement of Rebchia is right, what was the first statement of Rebchia? That if I claim you owe me 4 cows, right, and you say nothing, and 2 Eidim came and said you do have them in your possession, then Mishtaba Ash'ara, he has to take Shvu on the rest. In other words, the story is like this. I told the shepherd, you have 4 sheep, 4 cows. Says the shepherd, nothing. Today was my day off. It's the 4th of July. I didn't get any of your sheep. And then 2 Eidim came and the mamish saw him, video camera, showing 2 sheep he ate. Shakran, Ganav. Says now, Rabbi Zera, if we believe Rabbi Chia, what did Rabbi Chia say? If you deny everything and Eidim are against you 50%, then the rest you have to take Shvua. Omar le Abaye in Isa, Mishtaba, are you sure that if there would be a loch, you take Shvua? That Gazlan who? He's a thief. He's mamish caught to be a thief. He ate shawarma, barbecue. He ate ala eish, the sheep that he claims not to have, and Eidim, 2 Eidim saw it. He was caught red-handed, no other way. Very good, yeah? So Gazlanu, a Gazlan cannot take Shvua in Kazadavar. You can't take Shvua if you're a Gazlan, right? In other words, you remember Reb Chia's claim? Reb Chia said that if a person is a borrower and the Eidim said he really borrowed 50% and he's lying, that's not such a terrible lie. Why? Because money of what? Of halva is meant to use. So he's buying time. He's a white liar, but he's not a Gazlan. He just wants to get the money back from his salary, from his Yerusha, then he'll give it back to you like an honest guy. He's buying time in a bit of a tricky way. But this guy caught red-handed eating by 2 Eidim. So how can he take Shvua? A Gazlan is not believed to take Shvua. Omer lei shekenegdu kamina. Full stop. Shekenegdu means as follows. You tell me people, what would you do if the person that you claim against is a worker? I don't want to mention types of professions in this country, whatever, that has a very bad reputation, and he built something in your house, and you take him to Beis Din, and you have Eid Echad, he built something bad, and Beis Din want to be mashbiah him, but the person is a known liar. What would you do? Beis Din can't force him to take Shvua. You know what you do? You take Shvua instead. There's a concept that if the person that's supposed to take Shvua is a Gazlan, he's not credible, has no credibility, we switch the Shvua on who? On the other side, and then they take the money from him. So that's what I would say. According to Rabbi Chia, the person who's 50% Eidim against him has to take Shvua. Is a Gazlan? Don't worry. It's a Gemara in Shvua Daf Mem Hey, I think. There are 5 types of people that for different reasons can't take Shvua. So the other side, the Teveh, will take from them and extract the money from them. That's what I would say. What? The Teveh will take the Shvua, the plaintiff, because he's believed. It's a big chiddush. It's a concept, it's a mission in Shvua Daf Mem Hey, that sometimes if the person who, it's true, it's a chiddush, if the person who's chayav Shvua cannot take the Shvua because he's not believed, because he's confused. I'll give you another example, because we have some time for a change. For example, let's say that can happen a lot. Let's say you hire workers, yeah, and they claim you didn't pay them the salary yet, okay? And on the very same day, you have 100 workers, yeah, and 5 of them have a claim against you, yeah, maybe a dechod, modeh bemiktzas, something, they have a claim against you, and you're a very honest guy, you cannot take Shvua. Why can't you take Shvua? Because the person who has to pay salaries, and he doesn't have a nice Excel sheet, there are so many salaries he has to pay, and it's so confusing that could very well be that he's confused, he doesn't remember. How can you make a person who's confused take Shvua? Therefore, the ones who take Shvua are the workers, they'll take Shvua against, and they'll be nishba, we didn't get the salary, and they'll take the salary from his pocket. And that's what we say over here, but the royal also. Oh, so we almost finished the Amud. Have a good Shabbos. Hatzlacha Rabba. Review the shiur 10 times. Hatzlacha, thank you very much to all our viewers and all our participants by Zoom and by phone all over the country and the world. Thank you. Bye-bye.